ambition to win, just to get me some ends, help me pay my little rent, maybe sit in the bins.
What's poppin' YouTube? Ambitious Abe and B, we back at it with our third video. This video I want to talk about the timeline as a pre-medical student. So you get to college and you're pre-med and you're all excited, you know what I mean, and you just want to do as well as you can, but you don't necessarily have a mapped out plan, and that's actually kind of dangerous. You want to make sure you understand what needs to be done and when, and the importance of that. The reason it's so important to have a timeline is certain things have to be done at a certain time to keep you competitive in that time frame. Let me give you an example. Like, in order to get your application submitted early in June, let's say your junior year, if you want to go straight from undergrad to medical school, you have to have your MCAT taken at a certain time. Not only do you have to have your MCAT taken at a certain time, you have to have the prereqs of the classes to study for the MCAT taken by that time as well. Now, a lot of times, a lot of people just go through the motions like, oh, I'm gonna hit it when I hit it. But if you don't think about it and kind of map out what needs to be done when, then you'll kind of fall behind. And also you have to map out, like, in case things don't go as well, kind of give yourself wiggle room to make adjustments. So the reason it's actually super important for you to have a timeline is one, helps you set your goals and work towards your goals. A lot of people, want to go straight from undergrad to medical school, but if you don't necessarily know when to do things, you're gonna be behind the ball. Next thing you know, you're submitting your application in October and you're not giving yourself the best chance to be accepted into, a medical school, versus if you had known the process and you had everything submitted in June, you'll be giving yourself a better chance. If you're a freshman in undergrad watching this video, that's the best, because at this point, you can, go meet with a pre-med advisor and you can, figure out what classes you need to take and when. But even if you're not a freshman watching this video, I think it's still important for you to understand how the process works and when you have to do things and get things done. So let's say you want to matriculate into a medical school. Matriculate means start medical school. It's actually a fancy word. I didn't know what it meant until I actually matriculated. So let's say you want to start medical school in fall of 2020. You see what I'm saying? So not this upcoming fall, but the fall after. That means your application needs to be submitted by summer 2019, and then you will interview all of that fall of 2019. You'll then get an admissions offer spring of 2020 to start medical school in fall of 2020. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand that it's like a 1 year, half out type of thing, And the reason why it's important to know the timeline is because you have to think about, like, okay, when am I gonna take my MCAT? You see what I'm saying? Like, if you want to matriculate in fall of 2020, it's advantageous for you to have your MCAT taken by January of 2019, April of 2019. You know what I'm saying? So that you can have a submitted complete application by, June of 2019. The application opens, or the Texas application opens in, May. And from there, you're working, and you want to submit it as soon as possible. If you're taking your MCAT in, July, there's already thousands and thousands of applicants that are already being looked at because they have their application submitted in June. Does that make sense? Let me explain to you why you need a timeline to get your application submitted early. Y'all, so imagine me, you feel me? I'm an average student. I don't have a 3.9 or a 5.15 or no crazy things like that, but I get my application completely submitted by June 1st. Or, earlier than 85% of the people that are applying in that cycle. Like, if I'm on the admissions committee and I see a story that's like, oh, okay, this student isn't as strong academically, but he's involved in extracurricular, he has volunteering, I think he'll be a good fit in our medical school class. Let's give him an interview. You're gonna get that interview spot before, like, at that time, you may get interviewed in August or September. Does that make sense? And I don't know about y'all, you give me an interview, that's a bag, you feel me? Like, I'm eating that. You know what I'm saying? So you just want a chance. You just want a chance to, be given that opportunity. Versus somebody that takes their MCAT in July or August, doesn't submit a complete application until September. That spot that they have for that, the strong student that, it has extracurriculars, who's academics aren't like through the roof, has already been filled. You feel me? Like, they've already given your spot to somebody else. Like, at that point, if you're applying with the dudes that are submitted in September, your MCAT and GPA have to be crazy. Does that make sense? And that's why it's important for you to know, yeah, okay, I need to make sure by the time I'm trying to shoot for medical school, I have my application submitted by June. you know? And in order to have your application completely submitted by June, you have to have a timeline. It's important for you to understand, like, okay, what do I need to do and when do I have to have it done, you know? So let's say, like, okay, I wanna take my MCAT my junior year in the winter. That means you have to figure out, like, how you're gonna take all your prereqs, the classes that are gonna be tested on the MCAT, Bio 1, Bio 2, OChem, physics, you know, psychology, sociology, this and that. You break up your semester so, like, by the time you get to that winter break, you've taken all your classes. You know that you're gonna take your MCAT in January, so, like, slowly, even in that semester, in that fall semester, before you even start dedicated studying, you're slowly working on it, you know, reviewing old things type of thing, and then you hit it, boom, and you're good type of thing. You see what I'm saying? Also, it's important for you to know when you want to do things, because at that point you can integrate what you're going to do in the summer. You see what I'm saying? So if I know, like, okay, I need to have all these classes taken, I know in my summer I can take these two, or take this class, or take that class, and you're not behind the ball. Like I mentioned in my first video, I got lucky. You know, I took the MCAT in January of 2014. I matriculated fall 2016, so I was still in that process. And that, like I said, in that spring semester, I was working on the application. But my original plan was to take it that summer 2014, and that would have put me behind the ball. You see what I'm saying? And I just really want to emphasize why it's important to know what you're doing. A lot of times, like people like go into undergrad knowing, like, okay, I have to have this taken by this. If I haven't taken it at this point, it's too late. But a lot of us don't necessarily know, because nobody's telling us, like, yeah, make sure you have these classes taken. Make sure that you schedule your MCAT date by this time. You know what I'm saying? And I really just want to make sure that you know, as a pre-med student, regardless of what time you are in, that it's important to think in the future. You know what I mean? Like, it's not too early to start thinking about the MCAT as a freshman, as a sophomore. You see what I'm saying? Because you know, okay, I'm gonna take my MCAT on this day, and then everything just kind of revolves around that. You know, like, if you want to pledge and join a Greek letter organization, then you know, like, okay, let me front load these hard science classes that I may have to take because I want a lighter semester, you know, in this specific semester, because I'm gonna be doing this or that. You know what I'm saying? But you have to understand the timeline in order for you to even make these type of decisions. You don't want to just go with the flow and just hope for the best, because at that point, that's when a lot of people find themselves behind the ball. The dangers of not having a timeline is, you know, you're just going through the motions. You don't understand that, like, okay, I don't have the luxury of not taking this class at this time, you know, like, oh, I don't want to take this class right now, I'll just take it later. Next thing you know, you want to take your MCAT in the summer or in January or whatever, but you have 3 more prereqs to take. At that point, you have to take a year off, because you can't go into the MCAT without having had taken the prereqs. So let's say you don't really know how to set up your timeline. I think the best thing to do, especially like as a freshman and sophomore, if you are a freshman and sophomore watching this video, one, like, get connected with your school's pre-med advisor. And it's unfortunate that a lot of, like, pre-med advisors suck. You know what I mean? I do understand that sometimes, like, they just tell you to do, like, unfeasible things. And that's why the next point is even more important for you to find somebody in your school that's kind of doing it. You know what I mean? Because they know what teachers to take, they know what classes to take, they understand how to help you be more successful. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be able to keep that, you know, the timeline, you know how to hit your timeline, and you know somebody that can kind of point you in direction of what's good and what's not. Anywho, appreciate y'all checking me out again. You know, thank you for coming back. You know, like I said, man, what y'all want to know, like, let me know, and we can make it happen. You feel me? It's MB. Stay humble, stay hungry. We out of here.
Love me for my ambition. Easy to dream a dream, but what's harder to live?